For many new electric car owners, and those who are still considering making the jump to owning an electric car, the fear of running out of charge is a very real one. Termed range anxiety, it's often cited as the reason why some people are reluctant to make the switch to an EV. And it usually revolves around the worst-case scenario of being trapped in the middle of nowhere, miles from the nearest charging station, with absolutely no way to get home. Today, we're going to look at a solution to that problem proposed by one charging network, examine what it offers, explain why you shouldn't go for a more affordable solution, and then examine both why you probably didn't need it anyway and what we think is a better solution to the same problem. Back to range anxiety. Those who've owned an electric car for a while will know the reality to range anxiety fears is very different to what the hype says. Charging networks are more reliable than ever before, and maybe all electric cars on sale today make it incredibly difficult for you to run them empty, giving you plenty of advice, warning you that you might not make your destination, warning you when the battery is getting low, and in the case of some cars, even directing you automatically to a nearby charging station. Yet those edge case scenarios still exist, either because you're the kind of person who likes to live on the edge and push your car's real-world range, or because you genuinely happen to live somewhere that's just within reach of the nearest public charging station. And although 99% of all electric vehicles on sale today meet 99% of everyone's driving needs from a single overnight charge, sometimes as much as a week's daily driving on a single overnight charge, range anxiety is still a thing. Over the years, we've seen some solutions offered to tackling this, including, of course, range-extended electric cars that actually carry an internal combustion engine alongside the battery pack for occasional use case scenarios where the battery doesn't quite have enough range. But now charging network specialist Blink has come up with a product it says it's going to offer fleet customers and breakdown providers to get people back on the road in case they ignore all those warnings and run their car empty. I give you the Blink Level 2 portable charging station. According to the spec sheet for this combination of portable power generator and level 2 charging station can provide up to 12 kilowatts of peak power and 9.6 kilowatts of continuous power to your car to help it charge up, with a runtime of 9 hours if it's running at around 6 kilowatts rather than full pelt. It has a 10.5 gallon fuel tank and weighs in at 350 pounds. Yeah, this isn't designed for personal use, and that's a good thing, because I think it would probably take up most of the trunk space in your average EV. While there's no price officially listed, we've heard rumours that it will retail for somewhere between $3,500 and $4,500 US, which seems a lot for what it is, a charging station attached to a petrol-powered generator. Which got us thinking, for those of you who think this is a good idea, why not just go to your local home improvement place and buy a 3 or 4 kilowatt generator for anything from between $400 and $800 and then plug your home charging station in? It works, after all. Well, yes and no. You see, the cheap and cheerful generators you buy from your local home improvement store are usually made with pretty low-cost parts, and that includes just about enough electronic components to produce the 110 or 240 volts that your charging station needs. But while the alternating current produced is often the right voltage, it's often what's called dirty, and that can cause problems, if not for the actual charging station, then for the charging electronics inside your car. Alternating current, as the name suggests, is the flow of electricity that changes direction periodically, producing a sinusoidal waveform that, if you were to put it on an oscilloscope, would look like this. In some countries, the resulting waveform has a frequency of 50 Hz, or cycles per second. In others, it has a frequency of 60 Hz, or 60 cycles per second. The so-called pure power out of the wall is as close to a pure sine wave as possible, because your power company does some clever smoothing of the power to try and get rid of any interference and noise caused by both the generation and transmission of your power, but it's not actually even pure at that point. Those bargain basement generators you might see at Home Depot or Lowe's or B&Q don't have any circuitry inside them to do that, and the power that comes out of the generator itself tends to have a lot of electrical interference caused by the generation process itself and the cheaper circuitry inside the unit. That interference results in a dirty sine wave which can damage some electrical components. And while it might be okay for dumb circuits like an incandescent light bulb, it's not always good for more complicated circuits like radios or TVs, where you might hear that interference as a mains hum, or for things like the charging circuits inside your electric car. Let's remember, charging stations themselves don't actually do the charging of the battery, they just pass power safely from the power source to your car's built-in charger, which means your car's charger is more likely to get damaged. My guess that this unit is being offered by Blink has a higher quality generator component and a cleaner power output than your standard generator, and that could account for the extra price. And for breakdown companies, you could easily argue that this is quite a smart solution. But honestly, there are a bunch of better alternatives to this emergency petrol-powered charging station solution. First, there's the idea of having a breakdown truck fitted with a small battery pack capable of providing a few kilowatt hours of power to a stranded EV. The battery itself could be quite small and charged from the breakdown truck, or simply charged up at the base before each shift, which frankly is preferable. If I'm honest, the number of times a breakdown truck encounters an electric car with a flat battery has to be pretty low for all of the reasons I listed earlier. Namely, it's really hard to run your EV empty without trying super hard or ignoring the car's warnings completely. Second, there's the concept of electric vehicle to electric vehicle power transfer. We've seen some trials using the CHAdeMO connection found on Nissan and Mitsubishi plug-ins, as well as most Japanese market hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, which allows you to pull power out of one vehicle using the same power transfer protocol as CHAdeMO V2G systems use, and then you feed that power directly into a second vehicle. We've also seen a more affordable version proposed by Sono Motors. Its Scion EV has a two-way power transfer capability to let one EV charge another. In the future, when more vehicles are all electric, it's conceivable that we'll see breakdown trucks, especially the smaller variety that aren't actual tow trucks, but just attend breakdowns and get customers back on the road, being all-electric vans with a similar power transfer capability. But all of this ignores the basic fact that most people will likely never run out of power. In 13 years of owning electric vehicles, my partner and I have run out of charge precisely twice. I'm ignoring the couple of stranded times with DIY cars because breakdowns were caused by hardware failure, not actually running out of charge. Once I genuinely ran out of power in a snowstorm due to a massive diversion caused by an accident, but I was still able to coast into the rapid charging station in question. The second time, during a family emergency, my partner decided to skip a charge and threw caution to the wind and ended up running out of charge. That required a tow truck to drive her to the nearest rapid charger. The entire experience in that case took less time than it would have done to get a low-power emergency charger plugged in and charging the car up enough to give her the range she needed to get to the rapid charging station. Which leaves me with the following thought. While I applaud Blink for coming up with a solution to people getting stranded with no charge, it strikes me that this solution might be just a little overkill and is quite unnecessary for something that happens very, very infrequently. In the worst case, a flatbed to a charging station would probably suffice. And that's something all breakdown services already own. No extra incentives or investment required. That's it. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to help us make more videos like this, please do like, comment and subscribe. Send us a couple of dollars our way every month through Patreon, or you can feed our coffee habit with Ko-fi. I'll be back soon with more great content for you all to enjoy, but until then, stay safe, wash your hands, and keep evolving.